Welcome to the second session of the video course of this video course. In this session, we're going to talk about how to shoot your videos. Remember, in the former modules of the first session, we talked about the introduction to video content creation with your smartphone. We talked about the types of videos you should be creating. We talked about the equipment. We talked about the apps that I use, and then the planning of your video. Now, this is the session and the module where you actually go ahead and shoot the video. Okay, remember we talked about pre-production, we talked about production. Okay, this is the production stage. All right, so when you want to shoot your video, you have to keep it in mind that the equipment that you want to use will be dependent on the type of video you want to create. Let me say it again. The equipment you are going to be using is dependent on the type of video you want to create. So what that means is that if you want to create face videos, or maybe you want to create videos where you see people's faces and all of that, you know that you need equipment like lights, you need physical equipment. Okay, but if you're going to be doing faceless videos, you might not need all of those things. Okay, get that in your mind, put that in your mind, so that when you want to shoot, it will be easier for you. Okay, so when shooting your videos, there are several key aspects to consider to ensure that you have a high quality and engaging content. Okay, now what I'm going to show you are the things that are going to guide you. Okay, so number one, you should not forget your planning. Okay, you have to plan your shot. You have to plan how you want to go into the shot, how you want to begin. If you're shooting a physical video, all right, do you want to walk in? Do you want to sit down? Do you want to be standing? Do you want to be coming from somewhere? Do you want to be walking? Do you want to be running? Are you getting now? Do you want 5 people in your shot? Do you want an establishing shot? So all these things are the things you need to have in mind. It should be planned already on paper. Okay, make sure you do your planning very well. Now the second thing is your equipment need to be in place. Your equipment need to be in place. It's not when you want to shoot now you're not looking for what is that thing that I'm supposed to bring. Who do we call? Where do we get this? You should have gotten all those equipment ready. You should be sure, and by the time you want to shoot, you should be aware, you should be sure that okay, you want to shoot indoors or you want to shoot outdoors. That is the essence of good planning. Okay, now the next thing is your setup. Okay, if you're shooting face videos, you know that you need light, you need different things, you need tables, you need something to hold your cameras, you need tripod and different things. Sometimes in some cases you need green screen. Sometimes you may not need all those gadgets, you just need just light and your camera. You understand? Maybe you're shooting at an event, you get. So all these things are things you need to keep in mind. If you're doing faceless videos, maybe you are just editing and a client just sends you videos and you are just to edit, you know that it's just your apps that you need. For example, I've done an editing job where a client shot the video himself and sent the video to me. All I did was just to edit the video. Okay, so your job can be anything around either creating the video or editing the video. So you need to make sure that your setup is correct. Okay, the next thing is your shooting. You go ahead and shoot. When it's time for you to shoot, be confident. Shoot your videos. If you're going to be shooting at an event, dress well, look good. Okay, smell nice. All right, that's the advantage, because you might be shooting and somebody is watching you, and as they are watching you, they are assessing what you look like. Some people get jobs from jobs. Are you getting now? So you have to make sure that you are on top of your game. That is if you're shooting physically. If you're going to do faceless videos, you don't need all of that. You can be on your pajamas, you can be on your boxers and your singlet, and you're shooting at home. That is if you're doing faceless. But if your face is going to show and you are still shooting inside your room, in some cases you need to look good too. Are you getting it now? Especially if you're a lady or if you're a guy, for the both side, you just need to look good. okay, depending on the kind of shoot you want to do. But if you're doing faceless, you don't really have much to worry about. Okay, so number 5 is the filming tips. Okay, when you're filming, you have to make sure that you are focused. You, the person as a subject, you need to make sure you are focused. You need to make sure whoever you are shooting is in focus. You need to make sure whatever you are shooting is in focus. Okay, now the essence of this is so that when you want to edit, it will be easier for you to edit. Because if you do a wrong shot, like if you shoot some things not correctly, if you don't shoot correctly, it's going to affect you in the editing process. Okay, that's why it's very good to make sure that you remove all kinds of blurriness. Make sure your camera is clean, the face of your camera is clean. If you're using smartphone, make sure that it is sharp. Are you getting now? So these are tips that you need to keep in mind. The next thing is your exposure. When we talk about exposure, we're talking about light. How does light enter your camera? So you must make sure that you are shooting with good light. If you're shooting in the daytime, make sure that you have access to sunlight. If you're shooting in the night, make sure that you have good lighting. Are you getting now? So don't shoot in areas where you know that the place is very dark, so that the people who are going to watch what you are shooting, they will enjoy it. Are you getting now? So that is what the exposure is all about. Then resolution, you must make sure that you are shooting in the highest resolution that gives you the best quality. Okay, all right, so make sure that all those things are in place. You can go online and search for more information about this thing. Then orientation, it means how you place your camera, either in portrait mode or in landscape mode. Now that will be dependent on depending on where you want to post the video. If you want to post it on social media like Facebook, like Twitter, like TikTok, then you must make sure that it's on portrait. Okay, if you want to post it on YouTube, you must make sure it's on landscape. Are you getting now? So I believe you understand all of these tips that I have just shared with you. So go back to the video. You can pause at some point and watch it to get better understanding about all these things. Okay, so these are the things you should put in place when you're shooting your videos. Okay, I'm gonna see you in the next module.